right, Baker University coach Cody Garcia here after the first day of the Multi-Divisional National Duals. Baker, ranked 20th, knocks off number 6 Oklahoma City, number 7 Southern Oregon in succession to reach the semifinals. What were keys for you guys in doing that today?
Well, I think the thing we've been focusing on a lot is bonus points. You know, we got a great lineup. I think we have a solid dual team, you know, and I think that, you know, having some consistency through the lineup, but ultimately we knew each tournament or each match was going to come down to bonus points, and we've been able to get some falls in. You know, that's something we really emphasized last week in practice, and it's good to see it show up.
25 and 33. I think you started off the day with 2 pins, right?
Yeah. So our theme this year is ignite your passion. So I think, you know, those guys, you got to have some fire starters in the beginning, kind of ignite the rest of the lineup, and have a performance that inspires the next guy that steps on the mat. And you know, anytime, not only the effort and attitude they're bringing to the mat, but, you know, to have that lead. I think that's an important thing for us to do, and, you know, build that momentum to give the guys coming in confidence.
And then you got Victor Hughes at 149, returning NAIA champ. 1 versus 2 matchup today. He wins 7-0. What was your assessment of his performance today?
You know, it was a pretty similar match to the finals. So a rematch to the finals from last year. And he's just so solid. You know, I think the things that he does fundamentally, just heavy hips, vintage Vic is what we call him, and it's just gritty matches. You know, I think that's another one. You can inspire people in a lot of ways, and to follow him up is always fun because he's going to be in a battle, and if it's a war, man, it's a war he's going to win. So to 7-0, you know, that's a big win for him. It was a 1-point match in the finals, so setting the tone, kind of sending a message here early in the year, it's important for him to do.
So for people who aren't familiar with Baker Wrestling, can you share a little bit about the program's history and how far you've come, particularly in the last couple of years here?
Yeah, you know, this is my second year at the program. My last year competing was their first year as a program, so it's kind of neat. I watched them get started, and they were the beginning of this onslaught of growth in wrestling in Kansas. So we kind of got a head start on some of those other schools, other than the 5 original ones. But there's a great foundation. They hired a great coach that built the program, gave it some tradition, and we've just kind of rolled here. I think, you know, having 2 national champs, 6th place, first top 10 finish last year. We've had 3 national champs in the 8 years as a program. 3 of the 6 national champs of any sports at Baker have been wrestlers now. So I think just kind of creating that flagship, creating some momentum to allow us to continue to have success and build our base in Kansas.
So you guys tomorrow have the ultimate measuring stick in NAIA. You match up with Grandview in the semifinals. What do you think about that matchup?
You know, it's something you got to embrace. I'm excited about it. I think these guys are ready for it. You know, you can wrestle on both sides. We kind of talked about chasing a lion all week. And, you know, we kind of got a lion in front of us now. And I think you got to be excited about that. You know, you can't be anxious about it. You got to be kind of taking anticipation. And I think, you know, that's kind of where they're at. They want to see where they're at. I think it's important. You know, it's matches we're going to have to win. We got a tough region. You know, and that's a team that we're going to run into, and just to be top 3, a lot of times you're going to have to probably beat one of them to get to the show. So this is a good place to see where we're at. You know, maybe get some exposed in some areas, maybe hopefully expose them in some areas, and see where we can work from there. But you got to have that thing to chase after. I think it's important for us to see where we're at right now.
Yeah, that bar that they have set is ridiculously high right now. They doubled up the crowd last year at the national tournament. But are they making NAIA wrestling better by having the bar that high and having people to shoot for it?
You know, I think the one thing initially when I got in, I went, you know, I've spent a lot of time in Division II. I wrestled Division II. I was a part of a successful program in Division II. I was a little skeptical at first when I went over to NAIA because I didn't know what to expect. You know, one, they get us credence. You know, they give us some credentials. They kind of show that, hey, like NAIA is a rising division, the fastest growing division. I think the depth, the quality is definitely growing. But to have them in there, it's important. And then from a national tournament standpoint, it really kind of created a little bit of disparity where some of these teams like us, you know, 3 All-Americans, 2 national champs, we can climb through to the 6th place finish. But it is important to have those, and I think for me to have something to go for and have something to chase is important.
No, Nick Mitchell at Grandview has modeled a lot of things that he does after what he learned at Wartburg. How about with you and UNO?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I used to, this was my favorite event. You know, I love this event. I appreciate, you know, everybody that puts the work in to make this event possible. It's changed a little bit since I was wrestling, but at the same time, this is kind of the first time from a varsity standpoint they get together, have kind of some purpose to what you're doing. It's very, very enjoyable, and to my first time back as a coach, I found out that winning's a lot more fun. So we went 0-2 last time I was here, and you know, to get back in the semis and kind of have you know, a little fun and enjoyment with this process is good. But yeah, everything we've done, you know, as far as how I modeled the season and working into this as our first varsity thing, the implementation of kind of how we run practice, kind of the things that we're trying to instill in our guys. Absolutely, you know, I had a great mentor. You know, I think if I have something to base off of, a lot of times I get a step back and I say, okay, what worked there? What are we doing wrong? What would coach do in this situation? And fortunately, I have a good enough relationship with him. I can pick up the phone too and ask him kind of his opinion on it.
What was the greatest lesson you learned from Coach Denny?
I think the thing that's helped me the most as an athlete, or as a coach, excuse me, is, you know, to just care about the guys. I think he was so emotionally invested, not just us as an athlete, but as a person, building people. And I think that's something wrestling, you know, we say wrestling instills all these things, but you got to have somebody up front, you got to have a leader that instills those things, and that's something, you know, I'm trying to make my mark. I'm trying to make sure that I leave a positive legacy for these guys, making a positive impact on them moving forward. And you know, he was a great resource to help me understand kind of what I needed to do to make that impact.